let me just go back a few years when I started my business. Okay? I started my business in just about 2000, 1999, 2000. I had left the company that I was working for, and I had this opportunity to open up my own restaurant. And I had an investor. He was a Japanese guy, okay? And he says, hey, if you are thinking about opening up a restaurant, I can front you the money, okay? We can open it up and it'll be our business. I said, that's fine with me. That's exactly what I wanted to, get into. Well, I had the opportunity, and this is how funny God works. I had that opportunity through this Japanese national, okay? I mean, he could barely speak English, but there was just something that connected us together, not thinking at that time. So we got into business, opened up the restaurant, and about 3-4 months into the opening up, the restaurant wasn't doing good at all. Okay, I mean, we weren't even making it. The people that I had working for me all came from the family restaurant that I used to work for before opening up this restaurant of mine. And they stuck with me to thick and thin. No money, they weren't getting paid, okay? Nothing, zero. So one day, I was out, there's a basin, okay, where all the ships come in and ships go out, and this is the Honolulu harbor, okay? One day I was just sitting there and watching these boats go out, and I noticed this cruise line, this dinner cruise boat, and one went out, another went out, and lo and behold, it was like about 6 or 7 different companies, okay, that did this dinner cruise. And I thought in my mind, you know what? I think I'll be able to do this thing. Now, not knowing how to cater, I didn't know anything at all at that point in time. So I brought my chef that started with me. I brought him down one day and I says, hey, look at these dinner cruises. One day we're gonna have one of these contracts. He looked at me like, are you crazy? I go, honest, this is where we can do really good business, okay? From that day, I went knocking on doors. I went to all of these companies, okay? Met with the presidents of these companies and just asked, hey, are you guys looking for a caterer? Okay, that's all I asked. 6 out of the 7 said, no, we already have a caterer. Okay, fine. I go to the biggest dinner cruise company, knock on the door, and the president, I asked the same question. Are you people looking for a caterer? And the president looks at me, he goes, I need you to talk to my food and beverage manager. And I went, oh my goodness, we have a chance. Something just happened. We got a chance. So I go back, and we're all sitting on this table, all of these people that I have at my small restaurant. And I says, hey, guess what? We may have a chance to get a contract. So everybody looked at me like, what are you talking about? How can we do this? I go, never mind how we can do it, okay? If we can get the contract, we'll worry about all the specifics later. And sure enough, I went to see the food and beverage manager. And we hit it off really, really well, okay? And at that time, he told me, look, if you can come in at a certain price, I'll give you this price. If you can come in at this certain price, I'll give you that contract. Because see, he was looking to cut his expenses also in the food side. And I just figured, okay, You give me that price and I'll go back and I'll figure out if this can be done. So he did. And to make the story short, a long story short, I got the contract. Okay, and this was 2,000 dinners every single day. 2,000 dinners. Okay? The bad thing was, we only had 3 weeks to put everything together before the contract started. Now I had no commercial kitchen. I had nothing. Okay, no food vendors in place. So we had to scramble. I mean, just a mad scramble. Somehow everything came together. I don't know how. And here I am thinking, wow, all right, we got it. We can do this, okay? The very last minute, we forget one item. A delivery vehicle. We have 2 days before our first delivery goes to these ships. And we don't have a delivery vehicle. It was so funny, okay? So my partner says, hey, my uncle has an old Chevy truck. We can use that. And I says, but this is not a van. He goes, no, it's a Chevy pickup. Okay, we have wheels. Now we have to put the food into something to make the deliveries. So I run down to this equipment place, and they have these stand-up warmers that you put the sternals on the bottom. They have 4 of them, okay? And they're willing to give it to me for almost nothing. I'll take it. Bring it on, I'll take it. Now these warmers, it was perfect because I could slide the food right into these warmers, the food trays, right into these warmers, and keep the food hot. But I was the only catering company at that time that had a pickup truck as a delivery vehicle. Everybody had nice, beautiful vans. Not our company. Our company was a pickup truck with these warmers tied up on it, okay? 2 weeks down the line, and I'm telling you this story because it all comes back to the Lord. Okay, it's really weird. 2 weeks down the line, 2 weeks into the contract, sitting after we did all the first sale, because we had 2 sales, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Sitting down in my office, the first sale, food, went out. 15 minutes later, I get a call. Keith, our food is all over the freeway. I go, what? He goes, yeah, the warmers fell and the food just slid right out of the warmers. And it's all over the freeway. I went, oh no. So my partner and I rushed to where the truck was. And we get there, and I'm just amazed. It's regular food pans with metal covers, okay? Yes, they did slide out of the truck. They slid out of the warmers, all on the freeway. But 95% of the food was still in the pan with the covers on. Oh my God. I'm thinking, what the heck? This is amazing. We get the food back into the warmer, put the warmers back up, get the food back into the warmers, and send it down to the ship. Okay? Not skipping a beat, because everything was okay. We didn't have to make any more food. We didn't have to call them up and say, hey, I'm sorry, we don't have food for your first cruise. You know? And it was just amazing. Now, coming back to the most amazing part. I never realized how much the Lord had his hand on this whole thing, from going to visiting this company, and getting a maybe and then turning that maybe into a yes, and then developing an actual catering company and going through all of these little insignificant little things that puts a business together. I never realized at that time that how good the Lord was. Okay? This is what happened. In 1991, the first Gulf War started. Okay? Now, whenever there's a conflict around the country or around the world, the Japanese people stop traveling. They don't go very far from their home, which is Japan. They stay close. Okay? When that happened, my business dropped off 75%. So I was doing business and just staying afloat with the 25%, which was okay. Okay? Slowly, at first year, second year, third year, it started coming back. We felt, oh man, this is great, it's back. 1994 rolls around. The second Gulf War starts. The same thing happens. The very same thing happens. 75% of my business is wiped out. And here I am trying to stay afloat with 25%. It was just incredible. Okay? So eventually we had to close the catering because if I'm going to be in business and just making ends meet, I'm just spinning my wheels. So we closed the business, and that's when I had the opportunity to relocate to the mainland. Okay. Thinking back to all that happened, from being just a nobody, okay, a manager at a restaurant, going into owning your own business, making these millions of dollars, okay? And then a short while later, everything just ends, okay? And you think and you wonder, what the heck is going on at that time? After thinking about all of these years gone by, after thinking about all that had happened to me and the business and all of that, I finally realized that it was the Lord that had a handle on everything that happened to me from the moment it popped into my mind that, hey, let's open up a restaurant, to the catering company, and everything along the way. It was God that had that. He had me lifted up. And no matter what happened, the positive things that happened, and then it turned to nothing after a while. I realized that that's all the Lord. When I was at the top of my game, okay, never once did I say, thank you, Lord. Not one time. Because I was thinking it was me. I was the one that came up with all these ideas. I was the one who went door to door, knocking on the doors and doing all of this stuff. Not realizing that, you know what? It wasn't me. Not one step was myself. It was the Lord all the way. And when I look back to my childhood, everything, it's the same thing. Every negative thing that happened, and I can say this with conviction, every negative thing that happened in my life, it always turned to something that's positive. But then again, that positive will always turn to a negative. But the Lord, if you have the Lord on your side, He's always going to change it back to positive. No matter what you do, that positive is going to be there. And all of my life, not once did I say thank you, Lord, for all that you've done for me. Today, I can tell you that every single morning when I wake up, Gina and I always say thank you. You know, because of that kind of stuff. It's just amazing how things happen. And I tie everything that happened to me when I was growing up till today. The school. If sequences never happened the way it happened, we would never be here. We would never be here today. Okay? I don't know what's in store for us in the future, but all I know is, as long as God is in it, is in the picture, we got nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. I mean, it's just fantastic things. When you asked me to do this, I was thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? You know? Before I came here, I just said, Lord, just show me the way. My mouth is going to open because of you. That's it, as simple as that. And a lot of people don't know all of these stories, you know? And I am just so glad that I have experienced all the things here to make me realize all the things that happened back there. Okay, it was because of the Lord. Not because of me, it was because of the Lord, you know? And it's just amazing. Just amazing.